Hey guys, how are y'all doing? It's Mandito Steez here today, coming at you with a video I don't normally do. So if you like this change of pace in this content, let me know in the comments. So today, I'm going to be giving my first impressions of Halo Infinite based off the second flight as of this video's publishing. I've gotten to play a lot of the PvP, and I would have to say that my impression is a pretty mixed one. Now, before I go any further, yes, I do acknowledge the fact that this is not the final build of the game, and other Halo YouTubers may have already spoken about things I'm going to speak about, but I'd like to add my own thoughts to the table. First off, let's start with the good stuff. I think 343 has finally been able to give us a Halo game that we as a Halo community wanted. They've been taking the best of both worlds from both sides of the camp, whether you like Sprint, or Bloom, or all those kinds of factors. They've given us the best of both worlds that I think we should be seeing in a modern Halo today. And we have gotten a game that I believe that fits the description of a modern Halo title. The gameplay seems solid, the new and old weapons seem to have their own unique spin on the Halo formula, and while some like the BR retain what made them so good, I also think that the pistol and the AR are actually very viable starting weapons, which is something I'm very glad to see. Also, the way that they've handled grenades, and then the fact that, in old Halo games, if you went for a sticky grenade, sometimes you get sticky grenades you feel like you should have gotten, while sometimes you don't. And in this game, it's very clear whether or not you actually get a stick when you feel like you should have. So I personally really enjoy that fact. I'd have to say that the aesthetics are on point, and the in-game graphics are a massive improvement to what we've seen in Halo 5 and in Halo 4. We also see them being absolutely awesome in game when they work. It's a massive improvement to what we've seen over what we saw at E3, so that's definitely good. With this current build, I think that they need to do a bit more polishing in terms of some of the textures and some of the shaders coming in, popping in and out. But I think these are things that 343 are well aware of, and also I am keeping in mind that this is a beta build of the game, so gotta keep that in mind. So one thing I'd like to point out, since I have played this flight on both Xbox One, the original, as well as PC, I would have to say steer clear of the Xbox One version. It's a miracle that it runs well and it runs smoothly, but it doesn't look great, as opposed to my 3080, which makes it run like a champ. Anyways, moving more along towards the negatives of what I saw with this build so far. Let's just get out of the way. I think the current progression system is kind of meh. I think we should be able to have progression more of what we saw as in like Halo Reach or in the current Halo MCC port to PC and what we're currently seeing there. I think that's how things should be approached. Instead of having to complete daily challenges, I think we should just get EXP from our games that we play and base that off of how well we do in those games. Because I think that is a core essential of any game, but also a core essential of Halo. I think that's a fact that 343 has neglected, and I think that's something that they should implement moving forward. Also, in regards to the lack of certain features at the launch, which are things that aren't really associated with the flight, which are the lack of co-op campaign, as well as forge mode, I think these are also things that should be at launch. However, I don't really believe that has anything to do with this beta, or technical preview, whatever you want to call it. So let's continue forward. I also think that the current customization options I believe that they're good, and I think it's a good direction. However, in regards to the paint themselves, I believe that we should be able to choose our own primary colors like we are able to right now, but as well as some standard secondaries as well. I know 343 has a huge ambition when it comes to their paint schemes and making that part of a monetized system. However, they're going to do it because obviously if it's a free-to-play game and multiplayer, then it's going to have some sort of monetization. And we've already seen a lot more monetization options that they're coming out with death animations, attachments on weapons, and things of that nature. And I think that they're also going to be doing that with the color schemes Now, I think we should be able to choose our, our basic primary and secondary colors as we've done in other Halo games, but having that option with the monetized or, EXP granted color options, I think that's a good idea, but with the way that it's currently being executed, it definitely needs adjustment in the fact that we can choose at least our primary and secondary for basic like pastel colors, because we all know that they're going to be coming out with certain things like camouflage, other sorts of types of colorings like maybe carbon fiber, things of that nature. So I don't think that 343 is going to have any sort of lack of monetization options. So if this is something that they can give us to, sort of placate the community, I think it would be a great move. Now, the last thing I think that's a problem with the current build is that there's a lot of jank, and what I'm going to refer to as jank. And this primarily has to do with optimization options and things of that nature. Like I said before, some of the graphical problems are when you're playing the game and then something suddenly jarring happens, or suddenly you're in the middle of a game, the game's running perfectly, and all of a sudden you drop from 160, or you went from 165 frames to suddenly you're playing at 30 to 25 to 10 frames a second, causing you to have a significant loss of performance inside of the game. I think that's a problem, and I think they know about it. So I think that's something that should be addressed. And while I'm at it, if you guys have made it this far, I think you guys should be, if you're into Flight, you should obviously be reporting any sort of problems that you encounter inside of the game, so that 343 may be able to patch those. I know I made a clip about one of them, and I know that's really well known, but having more exposure to those problems makes it so that 343 knows what to focus on. So, anyways, aside from, bugs here and there that people know about, things that I've found that I've reported, I think that if 343 goes ahead and optimizes this game to the point where it should be, I think it's going to be a great game. I think I'm going to have a lot of fun with it. I think a lot of other people are going to have a lot of fun with it. And as long as we get a stable, solid performance, and we get those slight tweaks, I think we're going to be going ahead and getting a great game in December. Now, I guess one last thing I'm going to say as a postscript sort of thing. I think 343 knows how much of a catastrophe it would be if Halo Infinite did not launch perfectly, if it wasn't a quote-unquote full game at release in terms of specs. And I'm sure that they have their own Halo MCC launch to think about in 2015. I think it was 2015 or 2016. I can't really remember the date, but they have that in mind for this launch. They also must be seeing what happened with CD Projekt Red and Cyberpunk and Fallout 76, just to name a few. So I'm sure that we're going to be getting a good launch. I'm cautiously optimistic about this game, but I think they have their hearts in the right place, their mind in the right place, and it's really going to be a crunch for them between now and December. And I think if there's any sort of problem that's going to come out of the game, it's going to be that crunch time that they're undergoing. And heck, even if they announce that they might delay the game again, I'd understand. But I think that currently, if they're able to pull it off given the time frame, and they have a solid game that's stable, that has everything that they want it to be, and that we're going to be continuously getting updates for that game, I think we're going to be seeing something really good out of Halo for the coming years, and I'm really happy to see it. Anyways, I guess overall, what I have to say about this is, I think that 343 is going to be able to finish it. And if you think so too, let me know in the comment section down below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and check out my other videos because I really appreciate it. I put a lot of work into these videos, and I just want to show you guys my experiences with one of my favorite games of all time. Or franchises, I should say. Anyways, hope you guys had a great day. Hope you enjoyed the video, and have a good one.